Hello, welcome to my channel. I'm Tiffany, retired librarian turned homeschool mom. And in this video, we're going to look at something interesting. So this is going to be one of 3 videos I'm doing, at least planned of this season, on full-length ballets. Now, I'm finding these on YouTube, so they're accessible. So I'm doing 3 of these. In this video, I'm going to be doing Cinderella. Now, this is to balance off the finishing up the Princess Diaries book series. So doing different audio things to kind of cover princesses. And I thought this would be interesting. So I'm doing Cinderella. I believe this video is set to be in the middle. And then I have the previous ballet would have been, I believe I'm doing Snow White, and then I'm doing Sleeping Beauty. So this video specifically is the full length ballet. I will link the YouTube video in the description. So check that out if you want to watch it. It was actually done very good. It was done, and I'm translating into English here because I don't speak Spanish. The National Institute of the Arts, this is in Mexico City. So this is their premier ballet company, and they're performing Cinderella. And thankfully with ballet, it's all mime. So it doesn't matter what language it's in because they're not talking. So it was done very, very beautifully. It is a 3-act ballet. It's done interestingly. I did have to pay attention a little bit because, again, it kind of messes around with the story just a little bit in order to fit it into a ballet. So it does take after the French original story, and by that I mean her father's not dead. Dad's there. He's just kind of being bullied by the stepmother and the stepsisters, who are in fact played by men in this day. So it is men who are playing the ugly stepsisters. So it does start off, you have Cinderella, you have the stepsisters, who are again men in wigs and dresses, who are performing a very physical parts. They're very goofy. It's very obvious they're intentionally very clumsy. Again, this is part of the dance they're doing. So you see them. It's a very physical part that they're playing, the stepsisters. So, and they're played off as they're supposed to be kind of awkward. And again, they're men in drag. But they're professional male ballet dancers. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to do some of this stuff because what they're doing looks very, very hard. They're falling on the ground, flipping over each other. It's very comedic in the parts they're playing. But again, to do this on stage without getting yourself hurt, it's got to be very, very difficult. But it starts off, you have Cinderella in the corner. You see the stepsisters who are kind of being obnoxious. You see the stepmother, they're bullying her. You see her father who loves her but is essentially a doormat. And you kind of get that first act is all in their house. You also have the wig makers that come in, the dance instructor, of course, and the dressmaker because they're preparing for this ball. You see how the staff kind of sees that Cinderella, one, can dance better and is prettier, but of course her stepmother's, these are my kids, she's nothing. There's a big dance with the father with Cinderella's photograph, and then you have what seems to be the fairy godmother comes in, or she's like hiding in a little old lady kind of garb here. You don't really see her. And the stepsister seems kind of weary of her, and she gets they had been bullying Cinderella and her father and taking the big image of her mother away from her. And you know, that very interesting dynamic. And then it basically switches after they leave to a very interesting act. So this is still part of Act 1. There's kind of 2 parts to Act 1. Because Act 2 is the ball, and then Act 3 is kind of the final thing. So, where essentially this is as the Disney says, the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo thing. So what they do here is kind of interesting. It took me a minute to figure out. They use the 4 seasons. You have the fairy godmother shows up. She takes off, they have a big reveal. She takes off her crouch. She's a very beautiful ballerina. She does a huge solo. Then you have these four seasons that come in and they do their solos, they do their dances, which are very, very beautiful. Then eventually Cinderella gets her transformation. She's now a gal, and they kind of explain. You can kind of see the miming they're explaining you have till this time. The carriage comes out with, yes, human dancers as horses, and the coachman, and she gets in, and that disappears really quick. And then it moves on to Act 2, where you basically, the jester comes in. He has a very physical role as well. There's a lot of men who are doing quite a bit here. So he does a lot of flipping and dancing. He has a very hard part. He has a huge solo. Then they bring in the core dancers, and they kind of do some of their stuff. The stepsisters come in with the stepmother, and they do some very goofy, again, very physical ballet exercises that involve them falling down, kind of legs up in the air kind of thing, basically to make them look extremely clumsy and undesirable. And they try to dance with the prince, and he shows up, and he's sitting watching this. And then, of course, Cinderella shows up, and they have a brief dance together, and then they actually disappear. And then they have the core dancers who dance for a while before they come back, along with these stepsisters come back. And then they have, the prince and Cinderella have a huge pair dancing, and then they bring back the core, and then both her and him do separate dances, solos on their own. And there's a little bit more dancing. The stepmother and stepsisters disappear, and then it closes, and you move on to Act 3, where again you have Cinderella has run off. They show the slipper at the end of this Act 2. Act 3, they're back in the house. She's kind of remembering the ball. The stepsisters show up. They start acting goofy and remembering the ball and picking on her, as does stepmother, bullying the father. Then, as is per the story, the prince and his men come up with the shoe. You have the comedic of the stepsisters trying to put on this ballet slipper. Obviously, it does not fit. It is our glass slipper stand-in. He sees Cinderella. She has the second shoe. So they don't do a thing where she's trying to shine on. She has the other shoe. She admits, the father actually tries to push her toward him because he kind of realizes, wait a minute, this could be my youngest daughter. And she forgets her stepsisters, and it's very obvious the way they play it that these stepsisters go off and marry some of the prince's men, and she forgives her stepmother. She hugs her stepmother, and then it closes to, they leave the stage, and then the fairy godmother comes back up. There's a bit of a dance with her, and then it ends with the kind of marriage, and the prince and princess, basically Prince and Cinderella, doing the pair dancing, a pas deux. I'm probably mispronouncing that. A pair performance, and that's the end of the ballet. It's done very, very beautifully. The music is very beautiful. The costumes are very well done. I would love to see it on stage, possibly with a larger cast, possibly more mice. There's a lot of prop work in this. And there's a lot of, as someone who's very fond of ballet, I watch a dancer by the name of Catherine Morgan. I may link her page in here if you're very ballet oriented. I'm an enthusiast. I've done it as exercise before. So it is a passion of mine, has been for a very, very long time. But watching them, the dances can be very, very slow, which from what I've been able to gather is very, very hard. So this is a very, very difficult ballet to pull off, particularly Cinderella's part. She does a lot of slow steps, which to have that type of control, it takes a lot of talent, a lot of work to do that. And the physicalness of the stepsisters, as well as the jester, and even some of the dances of the prince, where he's definitely a male ballet dancer, he's leaping up in the air, is very, very hard. But again, he also does to do a lot of stuff where a lot of their pairs aren't very fast, they're very slow, which again takes a lot of strength and a lot of control. There's also several lifts where she lifts and then spins almost immediately afterwards. Gotta be really hard. And then he does a lot of very difficult spins, which can be very, very difficult, which again can be, it's a difficult dance to play. This is definitely what I would say a hard ballet to perform. It's also probably very, very exhausting. So it takes a lot of control and a lot of talent, and they did it very, very well. I admire their artwork, and you did hear the applause of the audience. In fact, during the Cinderella and the Prince's individual dances and their pair dancing, they did end up bowing. They got a standing ovation, and they ended up doing a reverence, or basically bowing to the audience before continuing the ballet. I think this happened about twice. But again, I really admired the male stepsisters, because what they were doing looked very, very hard to be that goofy. They're in dresses. Cinderella actually has to dance in a cape, which is floor length. It does not look easy. Not to mention she has to walk downstairs in pointe shoes in that cape. So, no, that cannot be easy. So, but again, I will link it in the description so you can watch it yourselves. Hopefully one day I'll be able to see it in person. I would like to see a Cinderella ballet in person. Primarily right now I've only seen Nutcracker. But again, if you have a family member who's interested in ballet, if you're studying as homeschoolers, studying dance, this is a good ballet to do it, because you can watch the full-length ballet. It was done, again, very well. You can see the filming was done very well. And you can talk about different things. You can talk about the difficulty of the steps. You can talk about some of the physicality of the miming. Because again, with ballet, they have to tell a story in mime. So they don't speak. They do it in movement. And just how beautiful this is, and the costumes, and the very simplicity of the sets. So if you're looking at ballet, if you're interested in the history, if you're looking in various incarnations of the story of Cinderella, this is a good thing to check out. You can also check out my entire Cinderella list, because last September I did an entire thing of covering Cinderella. I covered a lot, from movies to books. I'm sure there's so many more. There's a lot of Cinderella has been done a lot. Oh. Pardon the yawning, as I always say. I do these at night. I have a toddler. By the time you guys see this, she'll actually be almost 4. At the time I'm filming, she's almost 3. So she's an extremely active child, and I film these at night. So, I mean, again, it's a great ballet. If you're looking to ballet, again, you can check out the rest of my Cinderella stuff. I covered Ever After, the Disney's, both of them, both live action and the animation. I'm trying to think of what else I covered. Was the 4th thing I think I covered. I cannot remember besides Ever After and the 2 Disney things. I covered a couple of books that are Cinderella. One was the Egyptians. I think I did a Caribbean Cinderella. I did both the French version and the German version. That's in one video. I kind of look at both of them. I think they're in one video. They may just be at one time. Check those out. So you will learn iterations of Cinderella. I'll probably do more fairy tales. So that is it for this video. So be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a positive comment if you have one. Check out the rest of the channel. I do lots of books reviews. Like I said, I'm doing the Princess Diaries right now. That's what this is balancing off, along with a wide variety of other things, from travel stuff to regular homeschooling stuff to board games. So there's quite a bit on here. Mostly it's book reviews and film reviews, or things like this ballet, or other YouTube channels that are educational stuff. So again, like and subscribe if you like what you see, and leave a positive comment if you have one. Thank you.